My favorite thing about XRP is look at this, from 1990 to 2003. Now I know you see XRP here, and no, this is not referencing the crypto asset XRP. This is actually standing for Exchange Rate Peg. I uploaded these old videos of gentlemen on the news back in the early 2000s. Guess what he said about Apple stock and again, Amazon stock? He said, oh, these internet stocks are too volatile, they're too risky. Well, history favored the bold. What's up guys, Kevin Cage here with another cryptocurrency update. Let's kick it off. First things first, we have seen that Venezuelan users of the crypto wallet Metamask, which is also a Chrome extension, say that they can no longer access it. You can see on this Metamask support page that was just updated, Metamask and Infura are unavailable in certain jurisdictions due to legal compliance, hence why I typically use a VPN. Now the good thing is if you always have your private key safe, you can always access it on any type of wallet. It doesn't just have to be Metamask. You can always restore those keys in Trust Wallet or anything in between. Now, I know we've seen some commentary from the CEO of Kraken, a global exchange, and Jesse Powell was actually an early investor in the company Ripple. He also provides some commentary about the geopolitical situation. And he does believe that US accounts being frozen on crypto exchanges could be just a matter of time. So this is exactly why I'd be looking to leverage a variety of DEX's decentralized exchanges rather than just Binance, Coinbase, Kraken, which are CEXs or centralized exchanges. You can also leverage other OTC brokers that source liquidity from dozens of exchanges all at once, which is linked in the video description like Caleb and Brown. But either way, we are entering some very interesting times. This isn't just me or random people on the internet claiming freezing accounts is possible. This is the CEO of Kraken. Now this is something I love to point out, shared by Blockworks, the crypto adoption. We can see this curve similar to the internet adoption in the 90s. This is something that Raul Pal of Real Vision Finance often does reference, saying the growth of the 90s to the 2000s of the internet is so similar to crypto adoption. That means this is one of the fastest growing markets in the world. This is about DeFi, this is about lending, this is about Web 3. Very similar growth curve. So if you are young and you missed the dot-com bubble, you missed investing into Apple and these internet stocks or even Amazon in the early 2000s, I believe that there will be some crypto assets that do in fact have these types of returns. The question is, which ones will? And I believe it's all a matter of survival. The crypto assets that get regulatory clarity, and I'm hoping that XRP is one of them, will no longer have a glass ceiling above them in terms of price and holding that price down. Once there's clarity, businesses, financial institutions, banks, everyday people will no longer fear that uncertainty, and the dam breaks so all the water, all the value can flow and be used on a global scale. Now we have this by Anders L. This is the Amazon stock. Now remember that I use the Fibonacci retracement with the 8, the 21, and the 34 extension because this is the Fibonacci sequence or the Fibonacci ratio. Before I talk about this, let's look at the Amazon price chart. And of course, we already looked at the XRP price chart earlier. My favorite thing about leveraging the Fibonacci retracement tool is leveraging some of the higher impulse levels, such as the 34 extension. Now looking at the Amazon price chart on the monthly time frame, seeing this high to the low, how would you gauge how high this price could go, besides just guessing? Well, one of my ways when assets are in fact in price discovery, besides holding this trend, is a Fibonacci retracement. Turning the lights on from this high, this wick, to the low. Where did we go? Right to the 34 extension. So the 8, the 21, and the 34 are additional ratios, part of the Fibonacci sequence that I lay on top of my Fib retracement. And let's just look, we can see wick to perfection, a double top on these levels. This is absolutely crazy to see. I know we show a lot of things such as maybe Doge and QNT, which I'll show in a second, but it absolutely blows my mind because if you had this high in this low to draw a Fibonacci retracement and you simply were around this zone of the 236, and you wanted to look for additional confluence besides basic trends or doing some crazy Elliott wave counts, and you were lucky enough to be betting on an emerging tech giant, even at these prices, you could still gauge higher levels for price confluence and look at the 3618. Look at this back test right here on the 4.236, and you could eventually see that moon scenario almost a decade later. Dogecoin did the exact same thing from the all-time high that was set in 2018 to the all-time low, took you right to a 34 extension. From QNT's previous all-time high in 2019 of July all the way to its all-time low during March 2020 when sentiment was lower than ever, if you were able to just draw a Fibonacci retracement in this asset knowing that it had such strong fundamentals and solid tokenomics, and even just accumulating during this creek, during this ride up, but even leveraging this 34 extension would still get you relatively close to the most recent all-time high. This Fibonacci retracement tool still took you less than 20% away from the target. That's solid. especially after an asset did a 300x from the low. And keep in mind, this is not financial advice. I'm just showing you some bullish cases of assets that reach these impulse levels. Some assets very well could never create an all-time high price, but I wanted to show you some success cases of assets riding these fib extensions and boom, reaching very close to the 34. Amazon reached it perfectly, Doge reached it perfectly, and a dozen plus alts that have done the same thing. And also to note, we also have Chainlink. So early days from its previous high set in 2018, we can see from the high to the low, hitting the 3618, perfect back test on the previous all-time high, right at that level. And then what happened? Came all the way up to the 34 extension. We also have a wick right there. Candle body's relatively close, but just another example of an asset reaching that massive impulse level, taking off from the 236 Fibonacci retracement. And right beneath it, I actually wanted to share this as well with the XRP price chart. Now, I shared this, I think in summertime after we hit like that $1.90, $1.95 level. We didn't quite break $2 with XRP, but check this out. This is using old data all the way back to the 2013 high for XRP. From the high to the low, what happened? XRP absolutely blasted off during this mega super cycle. XRP was one of the top performers in the cryptocurrency market. Now, this is on the monthly chart, and you can see that the candle bodies for the monthly time frame are sitting right on that 34 extension. Of course, XRP went to as high as $3.84, but that is absolutely crazy. You know what else is funny? Is that after that, we had a backtest down to another extension level, which essentially is around this bull flag as well. And then what happened? Thus far, we wicked to the 34 extension. Now, of course, instead of using this high and this low, we could plot new Fibonacci levels from this high to this low, and at the very least be looking at these golden extensions. And of course, maybe looking at the 8, the 21, and the 34 long term. Of course, that's taking the asset in the double and triple digits. So remember, this is not financial advice. I just want to show you, if you wanted to look for maybe confluence or gauge price discovery, if and only if necessary volume comes into the asset, this is one of my favorite ways to look at potential targets. But again, let's create an all-time high before we talk about these levels. I saw this in my screenshots the other day, an old Instagram post, throwback to November 2020 Bitcoin, back when we were at $18,000. Crazy how much time flies. Also, the Airbnb CEO says they are absolutely looking into cryptocurrency for payments. We also had the Uber CEO say the same thing, but he wants crypto to be cheaper. Apparently, he's only looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum. Instead of costing $7 or $100 for a transaction fee, you can leverage XRP or HBAR or a variety of other networks today for a fraction of a penny. We've also seen that eBay could soon integrate crypto payments on its platform, hence the CEO. And then coming back to this is the Amazon stock. It reached an all-time high December 1999 at $114, then crashed to $550 in October 2001. This is volatility at its finest. And remember, I uploaded these old videos of gentlemen on the news back in the early 2000s. Guess what he said about Apple stock and again, Amazon stock? He said, oh, these internet stocks are too volatile, they're too risky. Well, history favored the bold. Not until October 2009, so years later, we can see that it reached an all-time high. Almost 10 years later, now it's over $3,000. This is long-term investing in utility. Now, technically in the stock market, according to Investopedia, they say a long-term investment can be 5 years on the low end, and the long term, typically 10 years. Question is, do you have the patience? Of course, I don't want to wait long, but it's a mental exercise for every asset I buy because I do not have a crystal ball. I ask myself, am I able to hold this for the long term? Is this something I'm comfortable swinging the bat on with money that I can afford to lose? And if the answer is yes, I'm looking for an entry and then I wait. And of course, keep up with the news and daily developments. Now, I try not to just look at the chart. I try not to look just at the news. I try not to just look at the fundamentals. I try to do all of that and bring it together and look for additional confluences within all of that. So absolutely love this comparison. So thank you, Anderzel. Now remember, we've seen XRP side by side with JPM coin. Of course, this is an intranet. XRP is an internet. It's a lot more open for wholesale central bank digital currencies. This is the big money, guys. This is not retail. This is not people. This is big institutions. You can see other examples of Bitcoin, Ether, USDC, a variety of stable coins. And the cool thing with USDC is we've seen millions of dollars of HBAR, XLM, and even other assets now on this stablecoin network. And I prefer USDC over USDT. Unfortunately, it may not be as liquid at times, so it could cost you more to utilize it, but it helps me sleep better at night. And it's funny because these same guys, the Bitcoin maxis that will critique XRP or Ripple for holding a certain portion of the supply, Ripple programmatically locked it up for years. They cannot dump on us if they tried with that amount. But the funny thing is that, Tether or even Circle, which I'm a fan of, I'm rooting for them because they're bringing eyes into this cryptocurrency market and adding value. They're centralized. There's so much counterparty risk. We are trusting them that their token is backed and secure. That's a lot of hypocrisy coming from Bitcoin maximalists in the space. And yes, I'm rooting for Bitcoin long term as well. I want this entire crypto space to grow. It's just my whole thesis that I believe that utility will drive this market when there's in fact clarity, and that this utility will take these prices much higher than we've ever thought possible. For any Casper fans, I highly recommend checking on docs.casperstats.io. You can read about the token metrics. Now, there is actually a token unlock coming up shortly. Now, my question is, will assets dump because of sellers, or will assets actually pump due to an increase in volume? And I've seen across the board for a variety of assets, it is a coin flip. I've seen some assets during a token release and the asset just skyrockets. But I've also seen on the other side when assets dump because people want to take profits. So what I recommend doing is looking at the tokenomics, looking at the presale. I was not in any Casper presale, unfortunately, but I recommend you to look at the Casper presale token price and compare it to today's price of approximately 7 cents. Do you think that these holders will be selling their bags, or do you think that they believe in much higher prices in the future? XRP Crypto Wolf sharing, it will be too late if you buy XRP after a Ripple settlement. For me, I've been accumulating XRP for several years, and I have bought well before settlement. I have long-term holds that I just won't sell. Yes, I've made trades before, and yes, I've done everything I can to improve my position, but I have long-term holds that I refuse to sell until they are at much higher prices. We've done almost 1,000 videos on this channel alone regarding XRP, so I highly recommend checking out some of those older ones. Because my guess is when settlement does in fact come, and fingers crossed it is in fact this year, per even Jeremy Hogan sharing that it very well could be finished this year for XRP Clarity, who's a very well-respected attorney in this space. So not financial advice, but per the swing high to the swing low of a Fibonacci retracement, XRP is still below its 236 retracement, and on a macro review, I'm just not interested in selling at these lower levels. I believe with Clarity, it will absolutely rocket. We have to stick to the fundamentals of what's not just happening in the United States. We have to see what just happened out in Singapore, throughout all of Southeast Asia, including Tranglo launching 25 ODL corridors, which specifically leverage XRP as a bridge asset between real financial institutions. I know a lot of people bash XRP, but it has more utility than 99% of assets in this entire asset class. And Ripple is getting sued by the SEC, and to this day, XRP is still ranked number 6 after the markets have done a 50% crash. For me, this means something. And if you don't like XRP, that is fine. It still continues to be one of my largest holdings. And guess what, guys? I hold a variety of assets. I want to diversify my nest eggs, plant as many seeds, water those seeds each and every day. And when those plants one day turn into a tree, they will bear fruit. And when I get that fruit, or AKA maybe those profits or those yields, I take those fruit or take those seeds and I plant them and build another income stream. And just like Mac Attack right here, if news comes out that Ripple will be able to settle the SEC lawsuit, you are too late. Why do you think the SEC continues to delay their responses? They want to drag it out as much as possible. Do you think it was coincidental that Jay Clayton, the former SEC chair, the day before he was leaving office, decided to throw this lawsuit together? Right when Ethereum and Bitcoin were going on parabolic bull runs of December 2020, right before the parabolic rises. If you think that's a coincidence, I don't know what to tell you. I think this is all politics. And there are things going on behind the scenes that are much bigger than we can imagine. Friendly reminder, CZ of Binance. People do not need centralized exchanges to trade Bitcoin. I encourage you all to look at a variety of DEXs just for backups. Guns and XRP, Ripple's reason for the 55 billion escrow. And keep in mind, people complained about the huge supply that Ripple had. So what did they do to show trust and show that it is in their best interest to create a strong, long-living ecosystem? They locked it up programmatically. They cannot dump this amount if they tried. There's a certain amount that is released each month, and whatever is not released, it goes back to the next calendar month. This is showing that there is long-term interest in this ecosystem. Dan Moorhead, CEO of Pantera Capital, the first crypto hedge fund in existence, what did he say? He said 10 years from now, XRP will still be in the top 10. What does that mean for price? If the cryptocurrency market tapped a $3 trillion market cap and crashed and we were at $50 billion just a few years ago, do you think, even conservatively, a $10 trillion market cap, or even someday the stock market, which is well over, the global stock market is well over $100 trillion, could the crypto asset class reach those levels? Well, even if you're conservative and you only think we get the $10 to $15 trillion in the next decade, that is an unbelievable ROI. Unbelievable. So Ripple's reason for the 55 billion escrow is for public consumption. The potential of XRP was realized in 2016. There was a rush to lock up the lion's share of XRP out of fear that if its potential was fully realized, the public would rush in. The 55 billion XRP, over 50% of the entire XRP supply was locked up years ago, is for institutions. Now, this is from Rachel Lee, 2018. This is not financial advice, but I definitely want you to entertain this thought. I know the XRP community can look tribal at times to other groups, but they are some of the smartest people that I've met in this entire cryptocurrency space. XRP, XLM, they've all been on World Economic Forum documents, the 1% of the 1% in a variety of countries. Integrated and at least tested in every single continent by some of the largest global banks. We're talking well over 50 central banks. Now, some people say, hey, they're just future-proofing. They're just looking at the technology. They want to understand XRP. They want to understand HBAR. They want to look at all these assets. And that very well could be true. But that is a huge fundamental reason why I'm so interested in XRP. For all you Gala fans, Binance US has listed Gala. Please list API 3. I'm also going to be hosting a Twitter Spaces next Monday night with Iron Key Capital. This is a digital asset hedge fund. As you can see, focused on DeFi, Internet of Things, and big data networks. Focused on enterprise adoption and utility. Now we have Casper Labs, shared by Jane Everstake right here, will power distributed digital certificates and blockchain applications in Fuzhou, China. Now this is connected to the blockchain service network of China, no big deal. And this edition will support the legal issuances of NFTs in the mainland and support Fuzhou government entities and businesses. Now what's happening, even with IPWE, that huge patent organization, they are leveraging Casper's network, a layer 1 blockchain, and actually tokenizing NFTs. So they're making all of the patented information tokenized on Casper's blockchain, and then they'll even have metadata within those patents. This is all running on Casper, and this is what's being built behind the scenes while everybody's focused on current price. And this is what I was referencing earlier. So, with the XRP lawsuit or Ripple versus the SEC, we have Lisa actually sharing, according to Jeremy Hogan, a well-respected attorney in this space. If all goes according to plan, we might see a settlement April, May. Fingers crossed for that. Or might go until summary judgment in September. My bet is on clarity for XRP in September. What are your guys' thoughts about this? We have Wrath Economy sharing this by Currency Cloud. Now, this is a RippleNet partner. Currency Cloud is frankly partnered with almost every single financial institution, but we can see that this Alvir, and I'm not sure to pronounce it, has launched an embedded finance platform for cars. And keep in mind that Alvir uses Currency Cloud, a Ripple user, for cross-border payments. Could this be an IoT or IOV play, meaning Internet of Things or an Internet of Vehicles type of play? And yes, guys, crypto assets are going to unlock so much more than the trillions of dollars of payments or even other asset classes. This is even talking about Internet of Things and Internet of Vehicles. So imagine using distributed systems. Reminds me of Constellation of DAG's network that works with the United States Department of Defense. With vehicles, we've seen HBAR even being looked at, or Hedera's network being looked at for use of drones. We've also seen some documents showing Hedera being looked at for smart cities. So IoT is going to be massive. Big data is going to be massive. Payments is going to be massive. The metaverse, NFTs, which we just mentioned patents as an example, gaming, all of these ecosystems require some type of Web3 technology. And this is why all of us crypto people are such big believers in this space, because no other asset class can provide this. This is an asset class that will swallow all other asset classes. It will literally be the foundation where every other asset class can build on top of. I took a poll here. Does XRP surpass its all-time high price of approximately $3.84 in 2022? We have almost 77% saying yes, and we have about 23% saying no. And just taking a quick look at the XRP price chart. This is on the 3-day chart on Bitstamp, since XRP was listed on Bitstamp early days, because this was in fact a RippleNet gateway back in the day. Look at charts. Don't just go on CoinMarketCap and look at the 4-hour or the daily. I want you to zoom all the way out. When in doubt, zoom out. So this is what I want to show you, dating back to even before 2013. This is an asset that has survived almost 10 years strong. Once an asset has a market capitalization over $1 billion, it is typically here to stay. And that is a quote from Mark Cuban. Now remember, XRP's market cap is a lot more than $1 billion. Today, it is approximately $35.7 billion. Now, I don't think it's crazy to talk about if we imagine the crypto asset class currently at 1.8 trillion. We believe that not just Bitcoin, because it has reached a $1 trillion market capitalization, we believe that a lot of other assets in the years ahead will in fact reach $1 trillion or even multiple trillion dollars in market capitalization. So Ethereum, I think it's going to happen. Whether or not you like gas fees, it's about where there is building, integrations, bridges, tokens on these networks. It's not about tribalism. This is just about the data and the facts. And yes, I believe that XRP, I believe that Algorand, HBAR, some of these assets, even QNT, could potentially reach multiple trillion-dollar valuations. And if Tether keeps printing, maybe they will too. And that's a joke, by the way. My favorite thing about XRP is look at this, from 1990 to 2003. Now, I know you see XRP here, and no, this is not referencing the crypto asset XRP. This is actually standing for Exchange Rate Peg. Now, this is in the International Monetary Fund's documents right here, XRP Exchange Rate Peg. So I think the naming of XRP as a technology for cross-border payments is been in the plans for quite some time. You can type in XRP Exchange Rate Peg IMF and you can actually find it right here of the eLibrary imf.org website. Now remember, back in the day, the token on the XRP ledger was actually called Ripples. And just like gold and silver with X in front of them for their abbreviation XAG, XAU, it means that it's not owned by any specific jurisdiction with the X in front of it. It's neutral. So notice we pay attention to a lot of these ISO tokens, XRP, XLM, XDC. I don't think the naming was by coincidence. But alright guys, that is enough out of me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember, all links can be found in the YouTube video description, and go play with these fib levels. And thanks to everybody that shares this around, and I'll catch you in the next one.